everybody. Hello, everybody. Not yet. It's still starting. There, we're live. So sorry for the delay. We were broadcasting onto the wrong page. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Raincross Farms Makery. Happy Monday evening, everybody. I'm Robin. Behind the camera, behind the computer is my husband, Bill. We're coming to you just outside of Lewiston, Idaho, and we have a really fun craft for you. Can't wait to show you. I'm going to take just a second to see if I can pull this up, making sure it's actually broadcasting this time. Maybe not. Maybe. Okay, so we would love it if you would do the things. There's the live. That's more like it.
Better.
That's more like it.
Now
Anyway,
Patty can see us.
We would love it if you would love our page or like our page if you're not too sure about us. Follow our page and share it out if you're so inclined to your page, to some crafty friends of yours, to any craft groups you belong to. We would certainly appreciate it. We also have stars activated. If you are so inclined to donate, that's very much appreciated. So let's see who is here. Patty's here. Welcome, Patty. So if you are just hopping on and you see the red box up here that says live, you're watching us live. If it's not there, that's okay. You're watching the replay. We love to have you watch whenever. So make sure you comment when you're watching the replay, and we get Facebook credit for that too. So just hashtag replay and we'll know you were here. So let's see who else is here. Hop on, say hello. And since we got a late start, we're going to get started right away, and I'll catch up on greeting people in just a moment. We are going to spend some time at the Dollar Tree, and I actually went to an out-of-town Dollar Tree, and it was a really nice one. Anyway, they had just about everything. So I picked up a couple of frames, and so we are going to. These are kind of plain and boring and plasticky, but we're going to fancify these, make them look kind of farmhousey, I don't know, rustic. So we'll see how it goes. So I got an 8x10 frame, and I got a 5x7 frame. It doesn't matter what colors or whatever. Hey, Pamela, welcome, new viewer. Tell us where you're watching from. Okay, so if you're picking them out, if you want to do this project, if you're picking them out, kind of make sure that they fit, one fits inside the other. And for this project, I need this gap right here because we're going to glue down some beads right there to make it look really fancy. So 2 frames, they can be any size. And I'm going to peel this off the back. Save that because I'm going to need that. And I'm going to leave the glass in, but I cut a piece of craft cardstock the same size, and I'm going to stick that in there because I don't want to be gluing and painting on the glass. I'm just afraid it won't stick really, really well. So I'm going to put that back in, like so. So we've got that. And on this one, I'm going to completely pull the glass out to start and set this aside. Okay, so let's get to painting. I am going to paint these with chalk paint, and I'm going to use truffle, color truffle, which is a kind of a dark brown. And I'm just gonna give these puppies a coat of paint. Hello, everybody. It says Alana is watching. Yay for Alana. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint a little bit on this craft paper, but I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's going to get covered up. But I'm just going to give this a coat of this truffle colored chalk paint. This is Waverly brand, so I'm sure I got it at Walmart. I'm hearing that some of the Walmarts are no longer carrying the Waverly brand, but that's okay. I think they usually come out with they carry a different brand. And pretty much chalk paints are, for the most part, created equal, as long as it's a name brand. I know Folk Art has a really good brand too. Hey, Amy Jo, thank you. Welcome. Thank you so much for sprinkling. We appreciate that. That helps our business so much. It does two things. It puts our video out to new viewers, and it also sends a message to Facebook that you're liking what you see well enough to share it to your friends. And that's a message we want to send to Facebook. Okay, now I'm probably going to need a second coat of this. And that's okay. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to paint this one also. So I have not practiced this, so this is just my envisionment. So we shall see if it comes out like I'm thinking. I saw something similar, but I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. Is that the kind of crafter you are? A seat of your pants kind of crafter? Or do you have to have it all spelled out for you?
Well, that's half the fun, though, is trying something new.
Yeah. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, I don't have a whole lot invested in these supplies. And I'm going to try to do this without getting my fingers painty, but I think it's inevitable. Okay, so I've got first coat on that. Straighten that up, and I'm gonna clean my hands. I'm gonna give it a quick little dry. So again, if you're watching, say hello so we know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from if you're new. So I'm just taking my little dryer, drying that up. That's the great thing about chalk paint, is it dries pretty quickly. And it generally coats in one coat, two coats maybe. I can't think of a time I've had to put 3 coats of it on. So let's dry this up. Now we're also going to be using a lighter color. We're also going to be using the plaster color of Waverly chalk paint to kind of highlight it. But I wanted the dark down first. So I hope everybody had hey, Nancy from Minnesota. You are always so good at telling me where you're from. One of these days I'll just know. Nancy's from Minnesota. How was your Easter weekend? Did everybody have a great time? Did you have a lot to eat? Absolutely a fly-by-pants craft. Yes, it can be fun. When nobody's depending on it, that's a lot of fun. Okay, a little bit of a dry, and I don't know if that noise is bothering. We got we're using a different computer, and the noise gate works a little differently on it. Okay, so I'm going to do just a second coat real quick. Cover up that, and again I'm getting some of it on the paper because I want it there, but I don't need the entire paper covered. Chilly, raining Kentucky. Chilly and rain. We've had chilly and raining. We are from Idaho, north northwestern Idaho, up in the Panhandle. So we've had some chilly and rainy. Today was just a little chilly. No rain. Are we due for any more snow?
Well, actually, the weather report says we're supposed to get it tomorrow, but I really think it's just going to be rain here.
Probably where we are like the last ones to get snow. So we probably won't have snow. Areas nearby might. Okay, so that looks good, and let's see if I can give this another coat real quick. So I don't know about you, I love painting. Not walls. I like painting for craft stuff. Okay, Michigan, snowing and wet. Well, hopefully not much longer. Spring has got to come, right? And then it'll be summer and we'll all be complaining about how hot it is. Okay. Okay, so that is done. I think I'm done with my brush. I'm going to put it in some water. I'm going to check my time. Last time I was on, and I knew I had 45 minutes, but I started at a different time than I normally do. So I was finished at like 30 minutes because I thought my time was up. So maybe I'll go over an extra 15 minutes this time. Okay, I'm going to dry this up a little bit, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. And Mr. Bill, I dropped some of those beads. Mr. Bill, are you listening?
Yeah.
I dropped some of those beads. Can you hand that to me?
I'd be happy to. I'll pick up your beads for you.
Okay, so in the center here, where the gap between the two frames, we are going to use some half round beads. So I have already painted those because you've already watched me paint enough, and now you're watching paint dry. But here's my little hack for painting half beads. I take them and I stick them down on a piece of painter's tape. And then I paint them, and they're not rolling all over the place. They just stay right there. I can paint them all up really quick. I did it with this same truffle color. Okay, this needs a little bit more dry time, but I think if I can get this paper dry, I can get started with the gluing. Ooh, what happened to that color?
I don't know. I gotta go back and figure out what happened there. That doesn't make sense.
You kind of got blown out there.
I have no idea.
If I told you, we are demoing a new computer.
That still isn't right. I'll have to keep working at it.
Okay. Okay, still some wet spots. I'm going to try to work around those. And this I'm going to move to the side. We're not going to need that just yet. That has a lot more drying to do. And I've got my glue gun. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these half round beads. I got these off of Amazon. Amazon usually has a better price for a bigger quantity. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. I honestly haven't seen the half beads at Joann's. I haven't looked at Michael's. Okay, so I'm just going to peel these off of my tape. And we are going to glue them down. I already checked to see that the smaller frame will fit inside as long as I glue these right up against the edge. So that's what I'm going to start doing. So I'm going to take just a dab of glue and glue that down, and we're going to go all the way around and place them in there. Now I could just do a long line of glue, but I'm just going to put a dab on each one. I'm not in that big of a hurry, right? Okay, so I'm making sure they're right up against that edge.
So when you were doing this, were you looking for anything in particular when you were looking at the frames, for the frames for
No.
this?
No, nothing.
I mean, certain shapes or?
Well, I was kind of looking for something that was not too ornate, although that's usually not the problem at Dollar Tree. Again, I don't know if I mentioned I got these frames at the Dollar Tree. So I was really just looking for, they don't even completely match each other. But I just found some that kind of appealed to me. Not that you couldn't go more ornate. And this would be a great place, a great time to find, I keep touching that wet paint. This would be a great place to find thrift store frames. You can usually get those pretty cheap, sometimes less than the Dollar Tree, and better quality. So again, these are Dollar Tree, so they're plastic or pressed wood or whatever it is they make out of them. Now I'm getting all these little glue hairs. Bill's my, he'll get on a jag and he'll start looking things up on Pinterest and YouTube, and he found a crafter who says that if you put your glue sticks in the freezer, they won't be stringy when you use them. And apparently it works. I didn't try it. I didn't think to put my glue sticks in the freezer today. So we're dealing with these little spider webs. And I'm just buttoning them right up next to each other.
Have any of you heard that before? Does anybody here practice that? Putting your glue sticks in the freezer or in the refrigerator?
Hey, Donna. Welcome. So we are upcycling a Dollar Tree frame. We're making it a little bit fancier, kind of giving it some, I don't know, farmhousey, countryish trim. Making it look a little fancier, like you spent more than $2.50 on the frames. Patty hasn't heard that. We'll have to try it sometime. But see, I'd have to put the whole glue gun in the freezer.
Oh, Pam says yard sales. And
Oh, yes, yard sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what kind of pictures are in them because we're covering them up. I'm about halfway done with the half beads. Again, I got these off of Amazon, and you know what? That doesn't want to fit in there really, really well, so I'm just going to fake it. Now, I could take a sanding block and I could sand those corners down so it fits exactly into the edge.
Not in the time you have.
But no. So I'm just gonna kind of move it along. Well, I wouldn't sand all of them. Hey, Melinda. So again, we're upcycling this frame, and we are going to actually put another frame in the center. And hopefully we'll have enough time to chalk on a cute little saying. So I'm going to chalk on a little saying, and you could absolutely just put a photograph if you wanted to.
We're at Missouri.
Just use the heat tool.
Melinda.
And they melt. Ooh, I mean, you're talking heat gun, right? I've heard that. I'd be afraid I would melt something. Okay, I got some more here. Peel these off.
Missouri. Set something on fire.
Yeah.
You know, use that heat gun.
Although that's kind of half the fun, setting things on fire.
I've always enjoyed it.
Bill always said those were the teachers he remembers, the ones that blew things up and set things on fire.
Tell me that's not who you remember, those outrageous teachers that did that.
I remember a teacher.
North Central Missouri.
I remember a teacher, I used to be, I'm a retired teacher. So this is someone I taught with at the same time. And she was explaining to the kids about, she had like first or second graders. She was explaining to the kids about the fire alarm, and, you know, and when it's appropriate to pull the fire alarm, and when it's not appropriate to pull the fire alarm. And somehow she had it in her head, because the fire alarms, the custodians have to come around with a key to turn it off. Well, she knew that there was a key, and so she had it in her head that you had to have the key to set off the alarm. So in her classroom, she says, okay, boys and girls, if you ever had to pull a fire alarm, this is how you do it. Now, it won't go off because I don't have the key, but she pulled that alarm, and it set the alarm off. So we gave her what for quite a while. It's like, no. I can say, only because I worked at a school, I have been able to pull a fire alarm. Not because there was a fire, but because I worked at a school and they needed someone to pull a fire alarm for a fire drill. I got to do it. So, have you ever pulled a fire alarm? Let me know.
Thankful to say I have not.
No. Well, and I'm thankful that it was not a fire. It was just a fire drill. Have you ever had to use a fire extinguisher?
Yes, I have.
I can say I have not. I have not had to use a fire extinguisher. So tell me, have you had to use a fire extinguisher? Okay, Patty says no. I'm assuming that's pulled the fire alarm.
Yeah, you know, the one time I hated using a fire extinguisher, but I had to, was at your mom's house.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
We set your mom's house on fire. Well, I set your mom's house on fire.
No, we did. The wiring set, the old wiring set my mom. No, it didn't set her house on fire. It blew out her electric box on New Year's Eve.
So I'm dating this lovely woman.
We were married.
Wanting to marry her, and what do? That's right, we were married by that time.
Because the kids were there.
Set my mother-in-law's house on fire.
You did not.
That's how you really ingratiate yourself with your mother-in-law.
She loved you regardless. Then you had to fix it. Okay, last one. Kind of a big gap there, but that's okay. Nobody's gonna look. Okay, so let me get some of these. So here is the base of our frame. Does that not look fancier already? How much time do I have? 15 minutes.
So fancy.
So fancy. And
so fancy.
Still have some wet paint.
Pamela says she burns napkins on projects, little for magnifying
glass. Oh,
glass.
yes. We did that. We tried that. I thought for sure I'd burn the house down on that project, but I didn't. Okay. Now this I need to have a little bit drier. because we are going to, we're going to end up putting this in the middle.
Burn napkins on carpet roll.
Okay, so we're going to let this dry a little bit longer, and I'm going to work on what's going to go in the middle of this frame. Okay, so I'm going to,
oh my goodness.
I'm going to use something with a little bit of color. So I've got this pretty blue. I got this scrapbook paper from, believe it was Joann's. It's called Preserved Papers Stack. So it has gorgeous, gorgeous paper. And I saw, I like that. And I kind of like that. And I kind of like that. I think I'm gonna go with this bluish color. And I'm going to cut this down. This is my 5x7 frame. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to cut this by 7" by 5". And then I'm going to chalk a design on it. Okay, here's our design. I love this. It's a multiple choice. So be thinking about what you would pick if this was yours. The main thing says maybe something will help. And your choices are chocolate, maybe chocolate will help. Or you could, instead of chocolate, you could say swearing, maybe swearing will help. Or praying, maybe praying will help. So tell me in the comments which one you would choose for yours. Would you pick chocolate, swearing, or praying? Your choices are, oh, left her magnifying glass. Oh, did you burn something? Okay, I am actually going to do praying.
Patty says praying.
With a close second to chocolate. Because honestly, I am not a swearer. No judgment if you are, but I just never picked that up. So we are going to chalk this on here, and I'm going to take out chocolate. I'm going to add praying. I am going to find my wax. Okay. Because I'm going to put a sticky transfer down on paper. I don't want that transfer to pull up the paper, so I'm going to get a little bit of my surface wax. I sell it in my shop. It's just paste wax. And I'm going to wax the surface of this cardstock. This is probably 60-pound cardstock, pretty thick-ish.
Yeah, Melinda says praying also.
Okay, so we've got some praying, no
got
chocolate.
The right ones.
Okay.
The chocolate probably wouldn't help, but it'd make you feel better
There you
anyway.
go. Yeah. Well, and I guess the same thing could be said of swearing. It probably won't help, but might make you feel better temporarily. Okay, so I got a little bit of wax on there, and then I buffed it off because I don't want it thick on there. And let's see. I think I'm going to do the praying first. And I'm going to get a fuzz cloth because, again, they're very, very sticky. And I don't want it to pull up my paper. So even though I've waxed it, I'm putting a little bit of fuzz on that sticky part. And I'm going to center praying in there. And let me see. Okay, it looks even on both sides. No, it doesn't. Okay, looks good. Push it down so there's no air bubbles. I'm going to chalk this in, this is Dune. I could easily do white, but I think I'm going to go more with this off-white.
That'll probably look good with the chocolate.
Chalk paste. This is chalk in paste form, and this is Dune, so it's kind of an ivory color. I'm putting a little bit on my squeegee, and I'm just gently dragging that across that silk screen. Our transfers are, you saw they were self-adhesive. They're reusable. They can be used 10 to 12 times, guaranteed by the company. You could actually get more use out of them if you take really good care of them. So watch as I peel it off. Isn't that pretty? Woo-hoo-hoo. I like it. I'm going to set that aside. What do I do with my water bottle? And I'm just going to spray it with some water because I'm not ready to clean it yet. Okay. So here I've got praying. Let me dry that. Now with paper, I don't want to, this doesn't get super, super hot, but I don't want to get it too close because it will kind of, still needs a little bit more. What am I trying to say? It'll kind of warp the cardstock. A little bit won't matter, but I don't want it too much. Okay, so now I have some freshly applied paste, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some more wax just over that paste that I put down so I don't pull it up with the sticky. Okay, so again, just a light coat of that paste wax. Okay. And now I'm going to pull out the maybe chocolate will help. And we're not going to use the word chocolate. Again, fuzz. So that lightens up, eases up on the stickiness just a bit. And lay this down over praying. That's centered. Let me see. Okay. So I'm just going to push down the maybe and will help. Same Dune colored paste. And I'm going to avoid that word chocolate, like I should be avoiding chocolate itself. Did you get a lot of chocolate yesterday? Did you give a lot of chocolate yesterday? Okay. How am I doing? I'm cutting it close. Name of the game. Okay, so I'm going to peel this off gently. Ooh, maybe praying will help. Isn't that awesome? Awesome, I say. Get some of this stuff out of here. And I'm going to clean that up in just a moment. I'm probably not going to have time to do it in front of you, but what I will do is I will just wipe it off with our board eraser and plain water, scrape that off, get all that paste out of the screen, and it will be good to go for the next time. No chocolate received or given. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with no chocolate received or given? Okay, so our paste is semi-permanent, non-toxic, water-based, but when it's dry, it's smudge and budge proof. So I can rub on it and it's not going to come off. If I got it wet, it might smear. So this needs to go someplace where it's not going to get splashed with water, so I probably wouldn't put it next to the sink. Or you could put it behind glass.
No
which it
chocolate
could do.
yesterday. Oh my.
Okay, so let's reassemble this. I think I'm going to put it behind the glass, and we're going to put it in here.
Do you have that behind the glass?
No, I mean I have it the glass behind it.
Okay, just for the
Yes.
thickness.
Yeah, I'm putting the glass.
I thought you said you were going to put it behind glass.
I did. I meant something was going behind. Okay, and I didn't use this because I'm not going to need it. So here's our little center.
Patty says she's okay, but I do like chocolate and peanut butter. Yeah?
Yeah, you can.
I don't know many people who don't.
Okay, so see how nicely that fits right in the center? Look how fancy that looks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue all the way around.
I'm thinking
here.
of all the different things you could do with that frame, where you could antique it by putting a lighter color on the...
That's what I was going to do
Yeah.
if I have time. I may just take the time and
all kinds
get
of
it
things you could do with
started.
that.
Okay, so I'm going to stick that in there, push it down. Okay, till that sets. And then I did say I was going to do a little wash over the top. So I've got this section here that's not drying. There we go. So I'm going to take a little bit of chalk paint in plaster, and I'm going to kind of do a dry brush over it. And we'll see how that looks. Hopefully it will look a little antiqued.
3 minutes.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit, and I'm going to take most of this off, and then I'm just going to get the tops of those.
And if you don't like it, you can always go back and...
You can always go back and repaint it.
Paint it again.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of going over those beads, and do the same thing on the frame.
It just gives it more depth, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes it look a little more three-dimensional.
And you can even go over those spiderwebby glue strands. Okay, I'm going to try really hard to not get that on. So I'm kind of rushing through because I just have a couple of minutes left. If you are interested in the transfer that says maybe chocolate will help, maybe swearing will help, maybe praying will help, I have a cart link set up. You can type the word choices in the comments, and my bot will send you the link to those supplies. You can purchase them for yourself. You can take a look around at my chalk shop, see what you might be interested in. If you had any questions or comments, let me know. Type them in the comments. I will, even if you're not live, I will come back through and check out all the comments afterwards. I certainly appreciate those of you that watched and stayed on and commented. That really helps us a lot. And thank you so much to Craft Round the Clock for allowing us to share into your lovely group. I guess I'm a part of the group, but anyway, thanks for this opportunity. So here is so far our finished project.
Now you can go back and rub some of that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll kind of touch it up. But anyway, so maybe praying will help. I hope you liked it. I hope you saw how you can take a couple of Dollar Tree frames and kind of fancy them up a little bit. So, hope you like it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.